Go make yourself a drink and I'll be down in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Whatever, we don't give a fuck. The deal is done. Now the cake been baked. They need to come on with the drama, whatever they gonna do.
What is up? What is up, everybody? Happy Monday. If you're happen to be listening to this on Wednesday, I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to post it. However, if it is Wednesday, happy Halloween. And if you are listening to this, you were listening to the first ever episode of the Mac Daddy Seminar with your host, me, Taylor Dunn. I call myself the host because I'm going to be the only person on here, but we may have guests as time rolls on. There was a couple of questions when I announced that I was going to do this podcast right off the bat. I'm going to go ahead and answer those so there's no confusion later on down the line. Number one, somebody asked, what is this? The Mac Daddy Seminar is just that. It's a seminar. Now, technically, yes, it is a podcast, but it's a comedy podcast, okay? We're just going to get on here, talk a little bit of shit. We're going to, joke around, and I'm just going to tell you stuff I've been thinking about lately. I like to do stand-up comedy for those of you that don't know, and it's kind of hard for me to do it on a regular basis because of where I live. I live in Mississippi, and honestly, stand-up comedy open mics are like an hour away from where I live, and to be honest with you, there's normally always just a group of the weirdest people I've ever been around in my entire life there. It's weird. Like, I went to one about an hour from where I live, and literally it was in just a bar, and a dude took his shirt off and ran around the room. Like, this is no shit. This really happened. And it just made everyone feel super uncomfortable. And that's not something I'm about. So, yes, the Mac Daddy Seminar is a comedy podcast. This is basically a TED Talk with me. I'm going to try and do it once a week. And I'm going to try and post every Tuesday or Wednesday. Or if I'm, just kind of feeling kind of lazy, it might post on Thursday. Either way, I'm going to try and make this a weekly thing. First and foremost, Halloween is here. Okay? Halloween is hands down my favorite holiday. I grew up in Alabama as a Jehovah's Witness, and I did not celebrate any holidays until I was 18 years old. I'm not going to go completely in depth with everything that comes with being a Jehovah's Witness. However, we did not celebrate any holidays. And it sucked. So growing up, the one that I always wanted to celebrate the most, more so than my birthday and Christmas, was Halloween. Because I like everything about it. I like haunted houses. I love haunted houses. Me and a buddy went to a haunted house the other night, right down the road from where I live. And it would have been better. Okay, first off, if you're going to have a haunted house, you need to have more than 6 people working in it. Okay? Like, unless it's for little kids, if you want me to pay $15 to do something, it needs to have more than 6 people in it. Okay? This haunted house was right down the road from where I live. It's down this like dirt road, and we pull up. We don't know where to go. I mean, it's already sketchy as it can be, but it was just a trail through the woods. Now, what would have made it a million times better is if there wasn't a tour guide. If they just gave you a lantern and let you walk through it, it would have been worth $15. However, they didn't have that. And there was some old man. He looked like the spokesperson for Marlboro cigarettes. He's like, all right, you guys ready? And he walked in front of us the entire time and had a little lantern. And then he would cut it off and be like, oh, my lantern's messing up. And I'm like, of course it is, dude. Of course it is. because somebody's about to scare us as soon as you cut it back on, and there's Michael Myers. That's basically how it went the whole time. There was like 6 little scenes, and all of them were just the same cliche, like, oh, this is the insane asylum, and this is the whatchamacallit, this is the kids area of the insane asylum, and oh, this is our crazy clown, crazy clown camp. They couldn't even get the fucking chainsaw started. Like, I heard the guy in the distance trying to crank it, and it just didn't work. So all in all, I would give it like 1 out of 10 stars. Like, it wasn't even worth a Yelp review. That's how bad it was. And then the good haunted house was literally right across the road, and the wait time for it was like 11 hours. And I do not have time to do that. So I went to it last year. I didn't get to go to it this year, so I'm kind of bummed out, but, you know, it'll be okay. Speaking of stuff that has scared the shit out of me lately, I'm sure most of you have probably seen this new show on Netflix called The Haunting of Hill House. It's brand new to Netflix. It just came out earlier this month. And I saw everybody on Facebook talking about it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this show. So me and my wife sit down on like a Sunday evening, and we start watching this show. And the episodes are an hour long. We sat down at like 6 o'clock. We didn't finish watching that day until 11. We watched half of the season in one sitting because that's how good it is. We finished the whole series in 2 days because honestly, in my opinion, it is one of the best, if not the best, Netflix show that has come out. It was just that good. Sorry, I'm about to die. I'm so thirsty. But yeah, anyway, so it was one of the best Netflix shows I have ever seen. Now, with that said, this is hands down the scariest thing I have ever watched. Okay? Like, as a kid, I was afraid of everything. Because, you know, celebrating Halloween and stuff like that. Like, watching a scary movie wasn't normalized for me. And especially anything to do with ghosts or anything like that. So I like watching that type of stuff now. But when we watched this show, it freaked me out so bad that I literally had to sleep with a nightlight on. I'm not bullshitting. That literally, it freaked me out that bad. There are some scenes in this show that will haunt my dreams forever. Like, I lost sleep. We finished the whole season in like 2 days. But I literally will never not think about the bent neck lady. And if you've watched the show, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I will never not think about the bent neck lady whenever I'm alone in the dark again. Okay? Like, I was sincerely freaked out. But, yeah, great show. Fantastic show. If I had... I don't know how they're going to do another season of it, is the thing. Because they answered all the questions in this season. I'm thinking they might go towards like an American Horror Story vibe. And they'll do like different different situations, and everybody will play a different part. Like, I'm thinking that's what might happen. But they pretty much wrap up the entire thing in the first season. So I don't know how they're going to continue on with it. But yeah. But yeah, it was pretty good. Like, I really liked it. So if you're looking for something new to watch on Netflix, I definitely suggest checking that one out. But if you scare easily, this is probably not the one for you, especially if you live alone. If you can handle that type of shit, then you're just a damn savage. But me, I had to sleep with a nightlight on, and I would say sleep very, very lightly, because any type of bump in the house or a light flickering, and a light flickered in my living room, not in my living room, but in my kitchen while we were watching the show, and I about had a goddamn heart attack. Seriously. Like, every bump in the house that happened while we were watching this show, I just about shit down both legs. Like, I was that freaked out. But, it was really, really good. So I definitely suggest everybody watching that. So most of you went back to work this week and gave up your dreams of winning the Mega Million that got up to $1.6 billion just a few days ago. But somebody won it. One guy won the whole thing. And everybody's like, they say little cutesy shit like, oh, well, if I don't come into work tomorrow, you'll know why. Let me tell you something. If I won $1.6 billion, I definitely would show up to work the next day. Because if you said something to me like that, I'm coming to find you. Like, if you tell me, hey, if I don't show up to work tomorrow, it's because I've won a gargantuan amount of money, I'm coming to find you. If you just happen to be sick and you stay home from work that day, I'm still going to come to your house. Because that's just not, like, I would be so cool about it. I would just be so chill. I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to come to work tomorrow and be like, nah, I didn't win. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get my attorney. I'm going to get me a financial advisor. I'm going to cover everything on my end. Until that money hits my account, everything's going to be the same. Unless I have to come forward. If I have to come forward and, like, show my identity, then that would be a little bit of a problem. But if this guy was from North Carolina, which apparently it was like one of those states where you can remain anonymous. Nobody even knows what that dude looks like. And I wouldn't want anybody to know. Like, I would only let people that needed to know that I had won. That's just me, though. I know some of you are like, well, I would be in a limousine riding down the middle of the street, just throwing money out the window. Okay, cool. And get shot. Do you want to get shot? Because that's a good way to get shot. I have a lot of money. Boom. That's the end of that. And to be honest with you, like, I had the opportunity to go buy a ticket, but I didn't, simply because, like, for one, I live in a state where I can't, there is no lottery here. So the nearest place I can go buy a lottery ticket is an hour away. I'm not making that drive to spend $20 on a 1 out of 320 million chance of winning it. Like, I think that's ridiculous. I'm going to spend $20. And some people spent like $1,000 on lottery tickets hoping to win this thing. I guarantee you the guy that won it, he probably was just like, they were like, do you want to buy a lottery ticket? And he had like some change after buying like a pack of peanuts and a Coke. And was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And he played one number. And that was the number that won. If I win the lottery, I'm super gluing that ticket to my forehead. You are literally going to have to decapitate me to get that ticket from me. Because like, I wouldn't know what to do. Can you imagine what he did when he found out he won? Can you even remotely comprehend what he did when he figured out that he won? I can't even imagine it, dude. But anyways, you didn't win. I didn't win. If you're listening to this, you probably didn't win. So, go back to work. For real. Because, you know, I just wouldn't feel like I earned it, you know? Like, if I had all of that money, what would you even do anymore? You know? Well, you wouldn't have to work anymore. Okay, that's cool, but what do you do? Do you just travel? Like, I get it. Like, that's the thing that everybody works towards, but what do you do? How do people go broke after winning the lottery is my question. And they just, like, how much cocaine and hookers do you have to pay for to spend $1.6 billion? I couldn't spend that much money if I tried. Like, I really don't understand how people are just like, I can just buy anything I want to. It will run out. It definitely will run out. I would live a little bit better than I do right now. And I would travel a good bit. But after a while, I'd be like, well, I have the car that I want. I don't need cars, plural. But, you know, I have the house that I want. All of my family is taken care of. And I have $395 million just laying around. I'd probably donate it. And that's not me just being like all high and mighty and stuff. But honestly, I would not have any use for it. You know? People are nuts about this Mega Million thing. But speaking of, this is one of the main things I wanted to talk about today. A new game just came out called Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, I played the first version of this game back when I was like 12 years old, I think. I don't know exactly when Red Dead Revolver came out, but it came out on the PlayStation 2 when I was about 12 years old. And I remember I was traveling with my stepdad, because my stepdad used to have this job where he would travel all over the United States. And I used to love going with him. That's what made me, like, kind of one of the things that made me want to be a comedian, because, you know, I love to travel. I like to see new places. But anyway, so he had this job, and I remember while he was at work during the day, I would just get to chill out in the hotel room. And I think we had gone to Kentucky, and he bought this game. And all I did for a week was play it, because I'm 12 years old. I couldn't go anywhere. And I beat that game in like 5 days. And it was one of the most fun I've ever had. Fast forward, like, not 10 years later, because it came out in 2010. So fast forward, like 8 years later, Red Dead Redemption comes out on the Xbox 360. And I really liked it. Now, I'm not even going to go into detail about all the stuff I was doing to entertain myself when I was 16 years old. You can use your imagination for that. But it was also a really fun game. And, they came out with that DLC, the Undead Nightmare thing, and that was awesome, right? Now, I'm 24 years old, and I knew this game was coming out like 2 years ago, and I've been seeing all these reports and stuff, and a couple of podcasts that I listen to have talked about it already, but apparently Rockstar was making the workers work like 100 hours a week on this game. And I am here to tell you, I've never been more happy that a company did that to a group of people. Now, let me clarify. They paid them for this overtime, but oh my God, is it worth it? Because I'm telling you right now, I may never play another game for the rest of my life. It's that good. I preloaded it, and I woke up early because I couldn't stay up late. I had to go to work the next day. I woke up at 3:45 in the morning to play this game before I had to go to work. I almost shed a tear. It was that good. It is one of the most detailed games I've ever played. And I do play video games, but I'm not a huge video game nerd. Like, when something good comes out, I'll get it and I'll play it. But this might be one of the best games I've ever played. If you haven't got it yet, you don't understand. There are people that I know that have it and that I'm friends with on PlayStation Network. Yeah, that's what system I have too, by the way. And I'll go to bed at midnight and they'll be playing it, and then I'll wake up the next morning at 7 o'clock and they're still playing it. It's like a goddamn casino, like that old people are in. They never leave it alone because it's that good. I'm going to tell you, I sat there and played this game this past weekend, drank Miller Lite, and listened to country music. I think I almost achieved nirvana. Seriously. I was having an outer body experience. Family Tradition by, and of course I'm going to forget his name right now, Hank Williams Jr., Indian Outlaw by Tim McGraw. Oh my God. I'm sitting there riding this horseback, right? And I'm shooting at other people as I'm riding. And I got my headset on and I'm listening to, and I'm an Indian outlaw, half Cherokee and Choctaw, and I'm getting it, son. Oh my goodness. My heart beat harder playing this game than it did when I thought the bent neck lady was going to kill me in my sleep in my room because something fell, or like the fan blew a Ziploc bag around the room or whatever. I almost shit my pants. Like, I keep coming back to this, but I literally almost shit my pants because of that show. But my heart almost stopped playing this game, listening to country music and drinking Miller Lite while I played it. This is what my life is when you are married and you have a kid. You get that excited over a video game. I'm listening to that song. Did anybody see that meme that came out a couple of years ago where it's Tim McGraw and they photoshopped it and make his eyes look crossed, and he's like, I'm an idiot outlaw, half parakeet and hot dog. Half parakeet and hot dog. And the picture is Tim McGraw's head on a parakeet's body with a hot dog tail. This is what entertains me. People are like, oh, well, you do comedy, so what do you think is funny? Literally, shit that's funny to me is dumb shit like that. somebody falling down the stairs is hilarious to me. As long as they're not, like, really badly hurt. I have fallen down the stairs and started laughing. And hurt pretty bad. But just because of how dumb it was, that's why I laughed so hard. Also, God. But like literally, like that moth meme that came out a couple of weeks ago, I was wheezing laughing looking at that because it was so stupid. My wife's always like, why? What is so funny about that? I don't get it. And I'm like, the fact that you don't get it is what makes it so funny. I'll say something and laugh harder because of the way I thought of it than I think I would at anything else. Now, if that makes me a psychopath, that's okay. Take me to the institution, put me in a padded room. That's fine. Because that is the funniest shit to me. But yeah. You need to definitely get this game if you haven't got it. But I would, like, anything you're invited to, clear your schedule. Okay? If you really want to get the best experience out of it, you're going to have to sit there and play it non-stop for, like, however long it takes you to beat it. If you beat it in a couple of days, I want to know who you are. Seriously. Because, good God. It's a huge game. It's extremely detailed. It's almost too complicated. Like, I started playing it, and I got about 10 hours in one weekend, and I was like, oh, I have to go back. Because I fucked up too much. Like, I lost, like, a pelt to an animal I wanted to sell, or I shot somebody I shouldn't have shot, or I punched my fucking horse in the face by accident, which really sucks. Like, I've pressed the wrong button at the wrong time, and it has literally fucked up my entire game. Because, like, okay, this is an example. If you have a horse and you have to, like, bond with it, I guess like you really would in real life, because I'm scared of horses. We used to have them when we were younger, and I don't trust anything that weighs 1,500 pounds that I'm supposed to ride. Not an animal. You know? Like, horses can sense fear, and they can get pissed off and hurt you severely. Anybody that's been kicked by a horse understands what I'm talking about. But, like, a motorcycle isn't going to get mad at you, okay? Like, you can still get hurt on a motorcycle, but that's because you did something stupid. But, yeah, you have to bond with these horses, right? And I have this horse, and I'm pretty well bonded with it. Like, it'll do just about anything I need it to do. And it literally follows my commands, right? So I get off the horse, and instead of patting it, I accidentally punch the horse in the goddamn face. And it turned around and kicked me right in the center of the forehead, and it ran off. And I haven't been able to find it since. I had to walk like 10 miles to get back to the town. And it sucked. And it had my weapons on it. So now I'm just out here in the open with wolves and shit coming after me, which they ended up killing me. But I'm not going to go into detail that much more. If you want to play it, you need to go buy it. Seriously. It is one of the hands down best games I've ever played. I've played that game so much over the past, like, 6 days, I could literally teach a 9th grade history class right now. Because that's how much I've played the game. That's how much I've enjoyed it. Right? Seriously, like, I know it makes me sound like a huge nerd, and especially this being the first episode of the Mac Daddy Seminar. I don't want you to think that we're just going to talk about video games here, but I'm going to be talking about what has happened to me, what I have done over the past week or so, and that is what I've done. I have been excited for Halloween. I'm kind of bummed out that I didn't win the Mega Million, even though I didn't buy a ticket. Still, I feel like you have just as good a chance of not winning if you don't buy a ticket as you do if you do buy a ticket, because that are what the odds pretty much are. The Haunting of Hill House, like I said, fantastic show, but if you scare easily, you need to watch some other shit. Watch The Office again or something like that. And last but not least, you need to get Red Dead Redemption if you don't already have it. It's a fantastic game. I'm giving it like a 10 out of 10. IGN gave it 10 out of 10. All the big gaming consoles and magazines gave it 10 out of 10. It seriously is one of the best games I've ever played. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. But like I said, we're going to be talking about everything on this podcast. So, don't think this is just going to be strictly about video games. But that pretty much, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of changes. I know that this isn't the best audio quality that money can buy, but I figured why go out and spend all the money on a setup if I don't know how well this is going to do. So if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, leave a comment. I asked people to send me in questions that they'd like answered live on the Mac Daddy Seminar to either my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter. You can put them on the comments for this video. And I'm going to try and make this a weekly thing as much as possible. So, yeah, just leave me your feedback. Tell me what you think. Tell me things that you'd like me to talk about. And I'll see you guys next week.